Monster RX 93.1. Welcome to Heard on Thursdays, talk radio that pops. Welcome to the show. Happy Halloween. Hi, Paeng. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
How you doing? Did you recover from last night's Monsters Ball?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Slightly.
I used your costume yesterday because I couldn't afford one.
The wizard and wolf costume.
Yeah.
The wizardly wolf.
Wizardly Wolf.
Like something from Harry Potter.
Yeah, there were some great costumes last night. There was there's a T-Rex. There was a another dinosaur. There were also ghosts, which is actually perfect for what we're gonna be talking about this evening.
A lot of animes too. Yes, anime characters. Ghosts. Yes, it's Halloween.
Halloween, ghosts, maybe supernatural or not, or just maybe spiritual.
And we have to have a Halloween episode. It's October 31.
Mm-hmm.
What are we heard on Thursdays for, right?
Exactly. And tonight we have a very special guest with us this evening. He is actually a psychic investigator, a tarot reader, and Reiki master. If you don't know what that is, well, we'll be finding out later on tonight. We have Master J.L. Manalili on his paranormal experiences and communicating with, the dead and everything in between. Hi, JL. How are you?
Hello, good evening, Rafi and JC.
How's it going?
Happy Halloween.
All right. Well, first of all, welcome to the show and happy Halloween. And can you just tell everybody exactly, because you seem to be a jack of all trades. How would you define yourself as a? I mean, what do you do?
I do psychic investigations. It's close to doing paranormal investigations without using gadgets.
Okay, psychic investigation. What does that mean? I mean, I'm sorry, like just from somebody who's never dabbled in investigations at all.
In the
Psychic
occult.
You get to investigate paranormal stuff in houses, in places, in which you're using your natural psychic gifts.
You're using your sixth sense. Is that it?
Sense, yeah.
The sixth sense. If you're familiar with the movie The Conjuring,
Yes.
they have gadgets there, right?
Right.
They have meters and sensors to detect presences and energy levels.
Okay.
So JL just has his own psychic abilities as Anthony, so to speak.
Para siyang innate na ability.
Yeah.
I see. How do you? First of all, let's talk about the history, the background. How did you get into this line of, I would say, very unique work, right?
Yeah, very unique.
Yeah, how did
I
you
just
get-
started with curiosity, and then I joined a paranormal group in which they trained me to do paranormal stuff, healing, energy healing,
Wow.
locating things using your psychic abilities.
You had an interest. Did you think that you had a talent even before you realized you had the interest? Like, could you see ghosts? Could you sense presences in a certain location?
Not really, kasi parang I wanted to test if the paranormal world is really a thing, or I mean, if it is real, parang ganon.
So
Okay.
it wasn't as if you were like seeing things because of your open third eye, and you decided to develop that talent.
Not at that time.
Not at that time.
Okay, so you said you joined a group and you wanted to learn from them.
Yeah.
So first of all, this is a skill that anybody can learn, or is it or are there only certain people that have this special gift within them?
It might be learned, pero there are specific people who are called into that kind of mission. Let's say mission.
A mission.
To help other people and spirits as well.
Okay.
So some people are called into this field,
Yeah.
into this profession, and some are especially gifted in it.
Yeah.
But it can be
Learned.
learned. So JC, you can learn to see people.
Okay, first, all
Dead people.
right. I gotta admit, I get nervous talking about this stuff because I don't know. I get creeped out. Is it normal for people to be kind of scared of talking about this kind of stuff with you? Do you get people who talk to you about who are fearful of this kind of conversation with you?
There are a lot of people naman who ask me about paranormal stuff, about my experiences,
Yeah.
about if this, for example, kind of ghosts are real, or if this is a myth. Usually, yung mga curious, I get them to feel what is the real experience of being in the paranormal world.
Okay,
Like-
so it's a world itself. It's another world.
That's another dimension.
Another
Parang
dimension.
that's another plane, parang ganon.
Oh,
So I
okay.
get to try to hold them. Tapos, yung ano ba yun, get to
Yeah.
feel them something na they would be feeling a touch or something. And different energy.
Why are you scared, JC?
I just do not want, honestly, just to the listeners out there, I'm a scaredy cat. I do not want to go into another plane of, another dimension for me.
Uh-huh.
But I know there's a lot of people who do, and I'm guessing that's why are they the people who hire you, for example? Because you're an investigator, which means that you're investigating on behalf of either somebody else or something that you're curious in, diba?
Yeah.
So people do hire your services?
Yeah.
And usually these people, what are they asking for? What are they asking you to
Money.
investigate?
Hidden money.
It's possible.
treasures,
It is possible.
Yeah, I did have one case before in the mountain province na they asked for help na to locate a hidden treasure kasi parang they are detecting it using a metal detector eh. Pero as they dug deeper, parang hindi nila malocate pero tunog ng tunog yung
Metal
detector. Tapos if yung mga tao na nagdidig dun sa hole is nagkakaroon ng sakit or
Oh.
nagkakaroon ng physical manifestation.
So baka protected by dwarves
Yeah,
or
they believe
certain
so.
entities?
Kasi nasa mountain province siya, so yung mga tribes doon naniniwala by offering something, makukuha nila yung treasure, whatever.
Mhm.
So, yun, gumawa kami ng investigation dun sa place na yun and we found some antique tools na
Oh, wow.
ginagamit. Yeah.
Uh-huh. But did you find the treasure?
No,
Not
But the
yet.
antique tools must be worth something?
may worth.
May worth.
May worth.
So yun yung nag-tick off ng metal detectors.
Yeah, kasi according to one expert there, parang merong tunnel talaga doon sa ilalim.
So baka nga meron pa treasure somewhere else.
Somewhere deeper down.
Guarded by the dwarves.
Possibly. So that seems like a unique case. What are the more common cases that people ask you to investigate in?
Common cases are yung mga lost spirits or lost souls na they were trapped sa bahay
Okay.
or sa hospitals
Right.
or church, yung mga ganon. Kasi
Okay.
like for example if hindi sila nakatawid or hindi sila makamove on sa mga
To the next
unfinished
plane, right?
business,
Yeah.
business
Then
nila.
go to the light.
Yeah. Na, yun, sometimes feeling nila buhay pa sila.
I see. And if you, let's say you were able to make contact with this what would you call him? A spirit? A spirit,
Ghosts.
a ghost? Yeah.
Ghosts.
So let's say you're able to contact these spirits, these ghosts. What is the process, or is it a secret? Like, what is the process to get them to move on to the next plane, or to in a sense, close this case na?
You cannot force a spirit or a ghost to go to whatever dimension that they should be going.
Okay.
Parang you have to communicate kung ano ba yung gusto nila, for example. What do they wish for or ano yung need nila for them to move on. So from there, hindi naman lahat mapagbibigyan mo. Like for example, who have experience na yung mga tragic or yung mga sudden death. Pero at the same time, you have to be empathetic with them na you cannot achieve anything pag nandito ka sa physical plane. You would have better environment pag nasa higher planes ka na, or higher dimensions ka na.
Could those spirits be, or some of those spirits be just afraid of what is beyond? Like, you don't know, is it another life, another dimension, aliens in another planet, or
It's
reincarnation?
fearing the unknown.
Yeah,
in a
baka
sense.
when you cross over, you become a fly, or
May ganun ba na parang nafe-feel nila na hindi pa ako ready?
As time goes by kasi, for example, hindi sila makaka-move on. Patagal nawawalan yung consciousness nila, na hindi na sila conscious about themselves. Kumbaga, for example, if matagal na akong nandito, yung soul ko nandito, at hindi ako nakaka-move on, I would not know na
that you have to move on. You don't know anymore.
Don't know anymore, hindi ko na kilala yung relatives ko, or nasaan ako.
So you're lost. You're genuinely lost.
Lost. So,
I
ganun.
see. But are there, I mean, let's say you find a lost ghost, lost soul, lost spirit. Is there a way that is there a technique that you do na para maalala nila na, oy, I have to move on to the next, the higher plane of existence, or whatever the next move is? Is there something that you do as a psychic investigator?
I call on their full name and their birthday.
And their birthday.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why, or just wala lang, it's just a very specific thing? Is that why?
Specific thing siya kasi you're calling for the specific spirit.
Identity niya.
Yung identity niya. Parang for example when you're getting an NBI clearance.
Right.
'Di ba? Kailangan yung exact name mo talaga and yung birthday mo talaga. Pag may natag kang iba, so parang there would be a different identity. Parang ganon.
Kasi if you just call that, let's say, Paeng,
Right.
a dozen Paengs may
Yes.
come to you, but Paeng born on
What year?
October.
What year were you born? That's so, I mean, okay, I just gotta say, first of all, what do you tell people who are, let's say, skeptical of this whole, of ghosts and spirits and things like that, or people who choose not to believe? Is there a way that you can convince them that this is real, or that how can you really convince anybody who's not into believing into this?
It's not my attitude to please people to believe if the paranormal world is real or not. Pero for example, if you're Christian, it is stated naman at the Bible na there are spirits, there are evil, there's demons. So
There are
parang,
angels.
There are angels as well, 'di ba? Parang from the beginning of time, or from the beginning of the Christianity period, is meron na talagang apparitions, for example.
Okay. And I feel like it's just something that you really have to accept as somebody who really believes in it. Because you can't, unless you're trained. Like you said, you can touch somebody, or how did you say you can touch somebody and they can feel the spirit?
Yeah.
Sometimes, and they tell you they tell you that.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. All right. Hold on.
HOT, heard on Thursdays. You want to hear this.
All right, we're back here, heard on Thursdays, with psychic investigator, tarot reader, and Reiki master JL Manalili. And
JL, how do you sense these spirits? Like, are they fully formed figures in your eyesight, or do you see them in your mind? Do you smell them? Do you feel heat in a room? How do you sense the presence?
There are different senses of a psychic din. Parang seeing, smelling, tasting as well.
tasting how?
Feeling.
Tasting how? I mean, what does that mean?
Parang may tinatawag na clairgustance.
Clairgustance?
Clairgustance, parang clear tasting.
Okay.
There are
Is it
different
related to
gifts.
Clairvoyance?
Parang
Similar to
clairvoyance
clairvoyance.
as well. Yung clairvoyance is clear seeing. There are different gifts kasi of a person na in which parang they can connect, let's say, to a spirit, or to the future, or to the past, for example. I usually see or use my clairvoyance, pero hindi siya yung very solid na parang tao. Parang you would just see them na parang smoke lang.
Are there colors like gray, red,
Usually
tangerine? Oh, gray.
it's gray.
A
From-
gray smoke
Gray
kind of
smoke.
figure. Like, is it like a silhouette, or is it just like a cloud? Like, parang
Parang
walang
cloud, parang silhouette.
Right in front of you or in the corner of your eye? Parang lang nagdaan lang sa tabi mo, ganon.
Usually kasi normal and yung mga psychics and non-psychics are yung periphery nila, yung usual na nakakita or nakakaramdam sa spirits eh. So parang minsan namamalikmata ka na, parang may dumaan sa gilid ko, pero parang wala.
That's happened to me. JC, in a place you're very familiar
Nope, I don't want
with.
to talk about it. No, I do not want to.
I've seen them pass by. But peripheral.
Okay, you've mentioned earlier that there's another, I guess, what do you call it? Another class of of investigator that uses equipment. What do you call the people who use equipment?
Paranormal investigator.
Paranormal investigators as well. So similar yun, no? Is it the same track? Because you said you don't use
I don't
equipment.
use gadgets nga
Okay,
lang.
but it's this. Is it like the same, parang same sector?
It's like in the same place.
Is it in the same
It's in
same
the
sector ba?
Same sector din.
Okay. So what is the why don't you do you not believe in using technology, or you just prefer to act to act upon your more physical being?
Kasi I think though mas reliable in terms of science yung technology. Pero minsan kasi may sablay. Of course. Like for example, if you're using EMFs, pag meron kasing current of electricity,
Like a cell phone or something.
like a cell phone or light or something, pwede siyang mag-spike. So you would not think na baka electricity to. You would think of may spirit. What if the current or the voltage is high? So parang you would think na malakas din yung entity.
I see. Baka ma-confuse yung what's really a spirit versus what is just like maybe an outlier of technology.
Yeah.
But what do you use any sort of recorder or voice recorder or camera, GoPro maybe
No.
when you do your work?
When I do investigations, I go with the person concerned. For example, if you own the house, I will ask you to turn off all the lights in your house and come with me during the investigation using a small flashlight or a candle, so that you yourself would be able to experience it, or let's say see it as well.
Nice.
Or sensitive, not actually see it. But do you carry any form of instrument, maybe not electronic devices, but say your
Besides the
tarot
flashlight,
deck,
yeah.
or aside from the flashlight and
Yeah.
the candle, a tarot deck, prayers, beads,
Bible, maybe?
some sort of medium? Is that how you can call it?
Yeah,
Some
medium.
device. Medium.
Or tools to help them
Non-electronic though.
communicate with the spirits. Let's say tarot cards, crystal balls. So parang yung mga nasa movies or nasa cartoons na a psychic or a witch is communing with the spirits or other entities using crystal
A
ball.
crystal ball.
So parang nagigaze sila doon. That's real.
Okay.
But you don't use that.
I also use that.
Okay.
For different situations kasi or different cases kasi you always use different tools.
Oh, interesting. So there's a tool for a certain, I guess, spirit or certain scenario.
Certain scenario, yeah.
What have been some of the more exciting or challenging scenarios that you have come across? Yung mga sa investigations mo, the ones that come to your mind na memorable.
Memorable thing is yung laging sa church.
Church.
Sa church. What do you mean sa church?
Like what kind of things in the church?
The church is always what, scarier? Is it
Oh, I got
somebody's communicating
Yeah,
with jail
I
right
got-
at this moment?
I got freaked out. I was like, what is that sound? Why is there people talking?
Pwede yun, not through electronic devices.
Galing pala cellphone.
We've
Yeah,
seen.
but my Facebook is off.
See?
Oh, there we go, man.
Oh, wow.
Hold
And on
on, hold on,
Thursdays
hold
on
on.
Manila's hottest monster, RX 93.1, you are with Rafi Reyes, aka Paeng, and JC, who's freaking
I'm
out right
sweating
now.
right now. No,
You saw my wallpaper na.
I don't even want to.
I was wondering, was it my phone? Was somebody trying to call me? Or was it like
I thought the bed that we were using. I thought there was like
then I
some.
realized it was his phone. So
Diba,
that's
it's black lang.
Yeah.
Tapos tumunog siya. So I don't know.
Okay.
So could that be? I'm not saying it is, but could that be a paranormal presence trying to make itself felt? And
No, it's
why?
not. It is it? No.
Most likely yes. Kasi spirits usually see psychics. Kasi psychics do have a light in themselves. Parang merong light dun sa middle of them of their forehead.
Okay.
Na this might be
Somebody. that I can
You
talk
know,
to?
Parang, somebody that you can talk to, or somebody that can
A
help
friend, parang ganon.
to communicate with.
The people here in the living world.
But in that case, then, when do you develop that light in the middle of your forehead? Is it after you've gained a certain amount of training, like you said, you did training early on, or is it because you've reached some sort of level of understanding that you can give off that light in your forehead, for example?
You can gain that light with achieving a higher wisdom, let's say,
So
or
knowledge.
people who overcome near-death experience. Yung mga ganon. They develop psychic abilities then as well.
Parang you get a crash course training in in a certain area of existence that's not that available to other people. Monsters, we didn't set that up, okay? JL's phone, I guess JL Manalili, psychic investigator, started acting up and sounding music.
From your Facebook, or
I don't know.
It was just from your phone.
The phone is the screen is off. Nobody's calling, so it just started playing music.
Kasi I closed all my applications na eh. Tapos when we were talking na, di ba, black na yung screen. So I turned off my phone. Tapos nagtunog siya.
Oh, God.
Going back to the churches, and a lot of people will be visiting churches tonight and tomorrow and on Saturday. Churches are especially challenging, creepy, or scary. What? Because they're churches, because there are a lot of prayers being said there, or bakit medyo scary yung churches?
Mas scary yung churches versus in comparison dun sa
Bahay.
cemetery.
Oh, cemetery.
Kasi ang usual, yung ang misconception kasi ng tao is yung spirits is nasa cemetery. But no, nasa church sila. Kasi there are a lot of prayers going on. So it helps them a lot.
So when you pray for the dead, that really means something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kaya di ba, most of the churches do accepts prayer requests for the dead.
And this is a tradition that is held not just in the Catholic Church or Christian churches, but also by other religions and cultures. Like we remember our episode on the Ghost Month, right?
Yes.
Chinese belief also has it that prayers will help these lost souls, these ghosts,
Find their way.
Yeah.
Especially if they are ungrieved, souls that are not remembered, those who died in war or are forgotten right now, they are lost, especially lost. Ganun din may paniniwala mo, JC?
Yeah.
JL, sorry.
Pero yung not all spirits or souls or ghosts na kailangan natin tulungan. There are also souls or ghosts na
Malevolent?
not malevolent, parang they're willing to help other people din.
Oh, they're
Like, for
here for a
example,
purpose.
Like for example sa Chinese tradition na they are offering something for their relatives or for their ancestors to guide them as well in terms of business or family problems, let's say.
I mean, just to put it in maybe terms that 90s kids will know, parang Mulan in that sense. But
Mulan,
they're ancestors in the movie from the statues. Interesting.
Heard on Thursdays. Talk radio that pops.
Welcome back to Heard on Thursdays. If you're joining us right now, if you're just tuning in, you're here with me, JC and Paeng, and we have Reiki Master, Tarot Reader, and Psychic Investigator JL Manalili on the show. And I wanted to keep going, talking about the spirits. So you said churches, there's a lot of spirits who appear there or are there because of prayers and, all of that. But my
They're
question
thinking of the dead inside the church.
So
maybe that's why they gravitate.
what
to
I
the
wanted to know
churches.
is the capabilities of a spirit. Can they go wherever somebody prays for them or prays about them? Because you've said that there are spirits sometimes in somebody's house, diba? But then can they also appear in the church if the person who's thinking about them or who you know what I mean? Like if they haven't, can they move from the house to the church based on a prayer or anything like that? Can they move?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, in a sense na if they're free to go and they are not locked up in a certain area, parang ganon. Pero kasi for example, if I read a person, I would ask their name and a birthday. So parang yung kanina na sinabi ko na, if you don't hit the same identity or the specific identity of the person, you cannot call the spirit. So ganun.
So as a psychic investigator, you can help people who are grieving over somebody they feel has not moved on, or you can also help people who sense ghosts and spirits and presences in a certain area.
For example, people were wanted to talk to their dead relatives about a special case, or if they left something, or if they
yung kayamanan yung binubulong dun sa yung binubulong dun sa
yung departed
burol.
relatives nila, if merong bilin, yung mga usual na dapat pa namin ibenta tong lot na to or yung property na to.
And sinasagot ka ba ng dead relatives?
Usually yes.
Wow.
Pero kasi yung mga dead relatives kasi parang more onto not material things but to family matters,
relationships, personal issues. But how do they answer you? I know you said that sometimes you have
sell.
Yeah. Per scenario, diba, per scenario you have a certain you might have tarot cards, you might have the crystal ball. But in what language, or how do they answer you? Like, is the thing, what do you call it, a Ouija board? Is that a thing also that
I don't use a Ouija board.
But do people do?
That seems scary. And
kasi number one, medyo dangerous yung Ouija board.
Okay, so it's really, people say that it is dangerous.
Yeah, kasi parang it's an open door to everyone who wanted to come in and come out.
So folks, JL cautions you, do not play with the Ouija board.
Okay.
We used to do that in Baguio when we were kids.
No,
it was scary.
I do not honestly, I don't mess with that stuff because I really do not want to
sorry, not a Ouija board naman, spirit of the glass, but that can be dangerous as well.
Yeah,
spirit of the coin, spirit of the glass, may mga ganang practices. So, yung medium ko nga is yung tarot.
Okay.
Or yun nga, by meditation, I would let the person involved to experience it as well.
So pati yung client, if I can call them that, okay, will sense what you're sensing, will get the answer themselves.
Yeah. Para hindi siya biased.
Kahit walang training sa psychic or
if
paranormal.
If you get to have a credible psychic or a paranormal investigator to help
yung legit.
Okay.
Yung legit, like JL. Meron na ba sa'yo nagsabi talaga, I'm sorry, it's kind of amusing to me and also very intriguing. Meron na nga ba nagsabing sell the property or don't sell the property when it comes to things like that, or the jewelry or the santo or whatever? Meron na?
Meron.
Talaga? And do they give the reasons why they don't want the item to be sold, or they want the item to be sold?
Yung usual reasons kasi are yung attachment nila. The spirit itself, yung attachment dun sa property or dun sa material things, let's say. So, ganun. Kasi parang, for example, if yun yung naiwan nila, that's the only legacy that they will leave
Oh. How do they get in touch with you, JL?
What do you mean?
If people listening right now want to avail of your services or ask questions,
they could add me, or like my Facebook page is JL Manalili, Psychic Investigator.
Wow. All right. So basically, anybody can contact you just through FB, and then what details do they have to give you? Because for me, I don't know how somebody would approach. I would approach rather a psychic investigator. Do they detail a story or like how do they know? I guess
probably have a problem.
I guess the point that I'm trying to get across is, how does one person know when they should avail of a psychic investigator? Like, I need to get one, like, to fix this problem.
Like, for example, if you are experiencing not so natural experiences at the home, or if
it's bothersome, if it's scary,
medyo malevolent yung spirit, let's say.
But at what point na parang masasabi mo na it's not just my imagination, na there is something really here? Because I think most people will say that they've had encounters or they've thought they saw something, but I don't think most people would really be like, I'm for sure that was a spirit, and I need to call a psychic investigator. Is that something that, am I being too presumptuous?
No, I don't think so. But I think that if there are more people who knew that they could go to
Contact.
people like JL, they would go to JL. But you're, I also believe you when you say that people are skeptical.
Kumbaga, I don't want to say, like, I don't want to call a psychic investigator and turns out to be a false alarm. Is what I'm trying to get. Is what I'm trying to ask.
Though meron ganun eh. Meron ganun na
Mm.
you would think that it's a paranormal phenomena, pero false alarm. For example, yung usual is for example, yung flooring mo is wood.
Creaky,
Old wood na
creaky.
nakikreak yung wood mo. Sometimes kasi yung weather or yung temperature ng room is may factor doon eh. Kasi for example, if hindi ka naniniwala sa paranormal world, you would think na merong naglalakad sa gabi or sa umaga. Kasi yung wood is nagki-creak siya or nag-expand siya pag mainit or pag malamig siya.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
So there have been a lot of false
False
alarms
Kasi
as
you
well.
would think na may naglalakad eh.
Do you tell them when it's a false alarm, or
Yeah.
do you try to play to their fears, or tell them what they want to hear? Ay, oo nga, kinakausap ka nga nung lola mo.
No, kasi I would tell them na wala naman eh.
Okay.
Do they ever parang pinipilit ka na, pero meron eh. Like, I know it, I felt it. Do they say that?
You feel it. I cannot feel it. Parang gano'n. I would not instill fear for you eh.
Okay.
Parang straight to the point na if there's something, there's something. I'll give you a solution. If there's not, ay wala.
All right. Since we were on the topic of yung mga spirit of the glass, spirit of the coin, tarot cards, Ouija, how do you say it? Ouija boards. They've made movies, local, international. There are movies about all these paranormal, psychic related ghost stories, ghost movies, horror movies. How are there any movies that you've seen that kind of I wouldn't say obviously be a realistic portrayal, but is there anything close that you've seen in a movie na
The
parang
Conjuring.
The Conjuring is really
Close to that.
but that movie's so scary.
And that's based on a real life couple who do investigations of haunted houses.
Paranormal.
Apparently, this couple, their story became the basis for the Amityville horror, right? The book, that case.
I'm sorry. I'm so nervous right now.
The Conjuring, and what other like scary movies or ghost horror movies specifically did you find especially if not accurate, gives some sort of sense of like what it's really
Insidious.
Insidious
and,
also.
The Conjuring talaga.
Basically,
Ayun
both
talaga.
movies that
I
scared
don't
me.
usually watch
the horror movies.
movies.
Why?
Kasi ako yung kinakabahan na pagdating sa movie. Kasi parang you don't want to watch yourself. Parang ganon yung dating.
Okay.
Baka mangyari sa akin yan when you watch
parang,
all these scenarios.
If you're after in the investigation, parang you have to cleanse yourself, diba? Parang you have to
Right.
calm yourself after.
Yeah, it's like you're like a doctor. You don't want to watch another movie where the doctor's performing surgery because you're like, I need to get rid of, I need to
Yeah.
cool off. Whew. JL, I am really scared.
Why are people so entertained by horror movies? Why do you think? And ghost stories. Like Jason.
I am not. I do not watch horror movies.
I used to be a very big horror movie buff because of the cinematic techniques. A horror story well told shows the directorial and writing technique of the creators. Okay, it
Fair enough.
shows style. But
But,
that's my interest. But talaga, they just want the scares. Why do people want to be scared?
Excitement. Excitement. Parang people want it to be excited. Parang may spice of life ka. Hindi lang lagi love story.
Right.
Hindi lang lagi comedy.
But is it scary and exciting in your field talaga when you go into one of your psychic investigations? Do you get scared when you're on the spot, or is it really more of a craft, a profession?
Is it something that you just got you got used to? Like, so, for example, back to the doctor
Skills,
situation. Doctors are so used to death that it doesn't really affect them anymore. Is it similar in your case with
Blood
dealing
and
with
all that.
spirits?
Syempre I get also nervous pagdating sa mga investigations. Pero I'm, used to it na for so many years of doing it, halos every day doing it. You're getting used to it, to different kinds of spirits, different kinds of entities or elementals. So, pero hindi mawawala yung fear eh. Hindi mawawala yung takot. Kasi if you're not fearing anything na, so
Delikado rin yun.
Delikado rin yun na parang overconfident ka naman sa mga cases.
How do you know when you're dealing with a ghost, a human spirit, and as opposed to an elemental and vice versa? Elementals yung mga JC, yung mga dwarves, right?
Dwarves. That's
aswang. No, aswang is like
different eh.
different.
Yung difference kasi parang
Tikbalang yung mga ganyan.
tikbalang, kapre.
Okay.
Folkloric.
Folklore.
Underworld creatures.
Medyo mas mabigat yung presence ng elemental kesa sa spirits. Spirits kasi have a cold nature na parang pag may na-feel ka na spirit, merong coldness.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike yung elementals kasi medyo mabigat sa likod.
Sa likod? As in your back?
In your back. Physical back mo.
Wow.
Parang feeling mo may nakapasan sa'yo. Yun yung usual way nila of letting their presence na ipakita sa iparamdam
Could it be because elementals are, and correct me if I'm wrong, okay, living creatures in this world but of another dimension, parang ganon. Pero yung ghosts are, dead people who have not moved on.
Yung elementals kasi are on a different plane, yes. Pero kasi yung usual elementals are guardians of one place. Let's say, most likely, forests or mountains or nature. Yung mga nature spirits na tinatawag na elementals. Pero there are also spirits na hindi, parang sasabi natin false alarm kanina, na merong paranormal phenomena pero hindi sila spirits. They're called imprints.
Imprints.
For example, I usually, usually nagta-type ako every day and namatay ako. Yung usual energy na ginagawa mo every day is nagli-leave ng imprint doon sa physical place.
Okay.
So the energy sort of
it's still there.
It's still there. Parang leaves a mark in the cement of
whatever the plane
that
is.
place, right?
Diba parang yung physical term is footprint. So we leave a footprint. Pag in terms of energy kasi we leave imprints. So yung mga ganong cases are usually needs cleansing. Cleansing of energy and space.
Kailangan ba namatay ka na to leave an imprint, or can it be left by, I don't know, very heightened emotions, very intense energies of people
Or
in a certain
near-death
place?
experiences, for example, like you said.
Hindi naman necessarily dead para makapag-iwan ka ng imprints. For example, in bars, clubs, or comedy bars, whatever, nagkakaroon ng psychic webs doon sa places na yun. Kasi there are a lot of emotions going na parang if you're in a bar, you're drinking, you're depressed or sad. You're also happy rin naman. There are
so a whole range of emotions.
Whole range of emotions. So sometimes yung mga people who are sensitive get to attach with those kinds of emotions. So minsan akala mo it's just alcohol, pero hindi.
Is it similar for, let's say, dramatic actors or drama actors, because they have to experience a whole range of emotions? So would a theater be something also na
napipick up nila
yung
yes.
ganun na?
Yes, lalo na yung mga old theaters. Marami nang naiwan na
CCP,
na imprints.
parang ganun.
Yeah.
CCP.
Na
Okay.
Metropolitan Theater, they're about to reopen it, so I guess there'll be a lot of imprints there. Or a house, or a condo, an apartment, where a very tempestuous couple used to live. Away sila ng away. Very physical, very verbal, abusive relationship. Buhay pa sila. They leave that place. Pwede ba sila mag-iwan ng imprint doon?
Most likely.
Most likely.
Anger hurt pain. So naiiwan siya. That's negative energies
Energy.
na naiiwan doon sa place na yon.
So the next people who will live in that dwelling place can sense that energy In what form?
Pwedeng ma-sense or pwedeng mahawa ka dun sa same energy na naiwan mo. Negative. Or, yung medyo worse dun, since negative yung energy na nasa place, the place could also attract the same frequency na meron yung place na yan. For example, if the frequency is very low, kasi it's negative may pain, may anger. So you would also attract spirits who are angry.
I see.
Spirits who are also in pain. Or most yung mga places, for example, na may very traumatic
Experience.
na nangyari, or may mga murder, for example, nagkakaroon ng demonic how do you call this?
Presence?
American Horror Story.
Presence? Like a presence?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
HOT, heard on Thursdays. You want to hear this.
Welcome back to Heard on Thursdays. If you're joining us, we still have JL Manalili. He's a psychic investigator, tarot reader, and Reiki master. Let's talk a little bit about Reiki, because I think we're on the subject of energy. And I think I looked up Reiki, but I'd rather get the definition from the expert rather than a Google search. Can you explain to our listeners what Reiki is and what being a Reiki master is?
Reiki is a Japanese form of energy healing. Parang usual energy healing siya na balances your chakras or your energy centers. It heals you holistically, parang physical healing, emotional, mental, and spiritual healing.
Is this something that you would get in the vein of like the yoga kind of tracks? You know how some people say yoga balances your mental, what do you call it? Focus?
Yeah.
Is it similar?
Yin yang.
Is there a similar?
Kasi
mind
it's
body.
the same in terms of energy.
In terms of energy.
Pero in yoga kasi it's self-help
I
Like
see.
in Reiki, you have to, you need a Reiki master or your Reiki healer to get a Reiki session. Parang ganon.
Parang the Reiki healer will manage the energy flow in the body of the patient.
Yes.
Can you describe energy? What does that mean? Because energy in the normal sense is like how if you're feeling good, if you're feeling happy, if you have strength, for example, in the gym, I have a lot of energy. But what is energy in your definition as a Reiki master? How would you define it to somebody? Is it the same?
Same lang.
Same
Kasi
lang.
For example, if you have fever, if you have a physical illness na fever, meron ding root cause of energy imbalance yon. For example, if you're over energetic for the day, it's also an imbalance kasi that's too much energy.
You're being extra.
I see. Extra. So what does Reiki? What do you call it? Reiki healing? Reiki is that what you call it?
Reiki
So Reiki healing. How do you do it? Because
it
normally, when you're getting healed by let's say a doctor or something, they stitch you up or they pop your shoulder back into place. What do you do?
Usually patients to lie down lang and close their eyes. Thus you just focus on your breathing and just let the Reiki master do the work.
But what do? Do you talk to them? Do you move? Do you conjure some sort of energy ball?
Ang traditional use kasi traditional practice kasi ng Reiki is laying of hands. So you have to touch the patient's body. Pero I revised it to not touch the patient's body para
Non-contact.
So I'm imagining it's like a massage, but you're not touching the person's body, and with your hands over the person's body, you're parang managing the energy centers.
Yeah.
Is that a
Parang
good
sa
idea?
massage, you're curing or parang inaayos mo yung flow ng blood natin. Yung blood circulation natin. Same thing with Reiki kasi inaayos mo yung
Energy composition or whatever.
flow ng energy sa katawan.
And that could also heal physical illnesses?
Physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual.
Okay.
Do you get a lot of once again it's all about like what can you show versus what is really, because it's hard to really show energy levels, right? There's no measurement of energy. So what is do you get a lot of kumbaga kontra from the medical resistance rather from the medical field in this case? Like do medical professionals say don't do Reiki? just go to a doctor, for example?
So far, wala namang kontra in terms of Reiki. Lalo na sa medical field. Kasi I also have doctors who are now studying Reiki or energy healing. Like, for example, Doc Thea. She's an internist. So, doctor siya, pero she also practices Reiki. And also in the States, there are some hospitals na who are accepting Reiki as a modality na ng healing.
How does one get into Reiki? Is it similar to getting into psychic investigations as well? I mean, the group that you said earlier, is it like the natural progression that if you want to go into this line, you also have to be able to do Reiki?
With Reiki kasi there is a lineage. So you have to be attuned by a Reiki master.
Meaning they have to find you?
Parang, let's say, baptized you by a priest. Parang ganon.
Huh.
For you to be called this kind of religion. Parang in terms of Reiki, you have to undergo training or attunement with a Reiki master.
You have to find Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It sounds like a, not
Or
to
Mr.
not to be facetious or anything. It's kind of like a Jedi finding a Padawan.
You train under
So somebody found you
master.
Yeah.
and trained you.
Yeah. Kasi
So-
I also trained from a Reiki master.
So let's say, do you have a apprentice right now, or are you?
A lot.
You have a lot. Okay, how do you, from the lot that you have found, how did you know that I want to be able to teach this person the ways of Reiki?
Kasi not all people who wanted to study Reiki or to practice Reiki is pwede na or welcome na to do Reiki. Kasi there are Reiki precepts eh. Like for example, how every religion practices or teaches love. It's just the same thing with Reiki.
So it's the universal.
Meron ding, universal law or meron ding precepts or teachings yung Reiki. If you can help, if yung main focus mo is to help other people, or not only people but spirits. Or other living creatures.
Wow, that is something else.
Heard on Thursdays. Talk radio that pops.
It's Halloween, the Halloween special of Heard on Thursdays on Manila's Hottest Monster, RX 93.1. You're with Rafi Reyes, Paeng, and JC.
Yep,
Our
yep.
guest is JL Manalili. JL, Halloween, tomorrow is All Saints Day. Any tips you want to share to our listeners, to our monsters, as to how to observe All Saints Day, properly and fulfillingly?
Maganda na it's better if you're from the cemetery or from the church, come to your house na mag-cleanse kayo using salt water.
Salt water.
Yeah, para ma-cleanse off lang yung not so good energies.
Di ba pwedeng sabon na lang?
Cleanse meaning what? Cleanse like
Maligo
shower or just wash your hands or ano ba?
Pwedeng wash your hands, pero mas maganda kasi from the top of your head nag-flow yung salt water.
Okay lang may mga salt baths na nabibili mo sa mga...
Yeah, rock
sa
salt would do.
Mga bath
rock
bombs.
salt.
Rock salt.
Mix it
Sorry.
with your water, yun.
Parang symbolic yun or cleansing talaga, cleansing agent. Oh.
Cleansing.
For the bad juju, for
Yeah.
all the mega vibes.
I don't have any salt. Like I don't have that at home.
There's a convenience store, drugstore
just grab some
downstairs
salt
you can
later.
go to.
Wow.
Are you visiting the cemetery tomorrow?
I am not.
This
It's not,
weekend
it's not
when
something
you go
I do.
to.
Nope.
Are you visiting?
No, I'm not.
No, yeah.
I think
That's
I've
a
made.
tip
I
from
think I've made
JC.
my how I feel about.
How about
I'm
prayers? Can prayers?
Prayers.
If you don't
Of
have the
course.
salt bath, can the prayers do?
Your own personal prayer would do. Kasi mas powerful yun kesa yung recited prayers that we practice. So mas okay yung or mas powerful yung personal prayers natin.
That comes from the heart.
Yeah.
So, and they can find you once again. Where can they find you online? I know I'm sure there's a lot of listeners now that are now considering psychic investigation
Or Reiki.
or Reiki or a tarot reading.
Yeah, if you have questions about the paranormal stuff, you may add me or like my page at JL Manalili Psychic Investigator.
JL Manali.
And he's also a restaurateur,
Oh,
JC. JL has a newly opened restaurant. Tell us about it.
Yeah,
briefly.
it's called the Secret Kitchen kasi there are a lot of secrets happening.
I hope it's not paranormal secrets.
Na hindi naman.
Just good
Parang
food.
Secret of good food.
Saan to?
Sampaloc, Manila. So you may search it on Waze or Google Maps na The Secret Kitchen.
What's your signature dish or the dishes you're proud of?
roasted beef, yung mga ganun, lasagna, mga ganun.
Well,
So he is a paranormal, a psychic investigator, but he cooks on the
this is a
side.
normal guy outside of work.
So if you visit the secret kitchen and just tell me if you're listening right now, I'm a big fan of Monster RX 93.1, and I'll give you a discount and free reading.
Wow.
Psychic reading.
Oh, there we go.
But do you do tarot readings there? In the
No,
secret?
no.
They have to schedule that. with
Schedule
you.
lang.
Okay. Well, before we turn things over to DJ Tom for the midnight snack, I guess, you know, I don't want to ask it, but a lot of the DJs here asked, do you feel anything here in the booth?
Yes.
Oh God, no! I didn't want to ask.
They just tried calling him
no,
on the
I didn't
phone.
want to ask. I don't know why I asked that question.
But should we
Okay.
be scared? Are they always
Hindi naman.
scary?
Dito sa booth kasi hindi naman malevolent. For the past 3 years naman ako nag-visit sa inyo wala
Alright.
akong feel na
They're nice
malevolent.
people.
Okay, thank you,
JC.
JL. Thank you for.
And also nice people yung mga kasabay mo sa elevator. Yun.
JL Manalili, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us,
Thank
and
you,
we hope to have
JL.
you again. Thank
Always
you,
a
Pang.
pleasure. Thank you.
And yeah, that does it for Heard on Thursdays. We'll catch you again next week. Talk Radio That Pops for more interesting guests. See you next week. Bye, everyone. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Heard on Thursdays. Heard on Thursdays. The premier magazine talk show on FM radio. Winner of multiple KDP Golden Dove Awards for Best Magazine Program and Best Magazine Program host Rafael P. Reyes. Thursdays, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. An original Monster special. Only from Manila's hottest. Monster RX 93.1.